Hello there, you absolute legends. Emma McElhinney here with Piss Off Perimenopause and the musings of a bullshit queenager. I am here to ruin your misconceptions about perimenopause, fat loss, and kick midlife in the face. So if you think your 40s are a drag, think again. Because every week I am going to be stripping down the myths about perimenopause. I'm serving you raw, unfiltered truths about your health and smashing misconceptions about fat loss. And a whole lot more. So if you thought you knew midlife, you don't know the half of it. Aging is inevitable, but getting old is a choice. So buckle up, grab a glass of something yummy, and let's get to it. Hello again, listeners. It is the next episode of Piss Off Perimenopause and the musings of a bullshit queenager. Now, if you have been listening to this podcast for a while, you'll have maybe picked up on the fact that quite a lot of these episodes are kind of off the cuff and just because I feel like it, right? And today is one of those episodes. So apologies in advance of some randomness. I'll maybe say something insulting, but it's not intentional. Everything that I say is designed for benefit of somebody, not me normally. Anyway, right. So I am going to kick off with what is concerning me a lot about the women's health coaching space right now. This has been worrying me for quite a while, but it's become more and more apparent. And it ties in, it's a marketing thing, but it ties in with where women of a certain age, God, inverted commas, of a certain age, women in perimenopause, and their levels of cynicism for people like me, products that I create, and not just mine, but other people's coaching programs, health-based things, courses, whatever. And I'm going to start it off by saying I completely understand why women are cynical. Not all women, I'm not going to say all women, but a lot of women of this kind of 40 plus age group are cynical. And if you think about culturally, where have all these women been in terms of health, dieting, life, all their lives, they have been told to fear food. All their lives, they have been told to be thinner. All those, and we've gone through various iterations of that be skinny thing. So we had, think back to most women in their 40s were teenagers in the 90s. So we had heroin chic. We had, nothing tastes as good as skinny feels. Then we had, strong, we've got to be ripped, we've got to grow juicy butts and get some lean muscle definition. But nobody actually told us that meant that we needed to eat more food and actually train heavy and not do things like Les Mills, body pump and Pilates. It was actually, like, I remember my very first proper gym that I joined back in, must have been about 2007. Maybe it was when I bought my first flat, and it must have been about that time. So I was an adult, and even then I was like, I'm going to go and use the weights, because I had used weights in the past. Like, I used to do sprinting training. I used to sprint. Humble brag, I was actually very good at sprinting. But anyway, I used to train with weights then, because if you go and look at a sprinter's physique, they are built for short bursts of power and speed. And they tend to build muscle quite easily. That's just the type of body that they have. And I wanted to use the weights at this new gym. I can't remember the name, Fitness First maybe. And they're like, oh no, that's a ladies' gym. That's a ladies' weights room in there. Like that, what? It's open at this time. And this time I was like, can I not just use the normal weights room? Like, no, that's the ladies' weights room. So this was 2007. So this is not that far away. But anyway, so we went through the skinny, we went through the strong, we went through the healthy. You've got to say you want to be healthy. You're not allowed to say you want to be skinny. You've got to say healthy, but actually mean skinny, because you're still judged and disadvantaged if you're overweight. So you have to say healthy, not skinny. And to this day, I still get people inquiring to work with me, and they are embarrassed to admit that they want to lose weight because they feel that it's too vain. And on a different tangent completely, own that shit. If you want to lose weight, say you want to lose weight. You don't have to say I want to be healthy if you just mean I want to be thin. It's okay to want what you want. It's your body, etc. Anyway, so we lived through that, the healthy era, and now we're back to the skinny era with the weight loss drugs, which are really concerning me. And I read a really good article on the BBC that was by Chris Whitty. I think he's a doctor. He was the man in charge of the health side, government side of health on COVID. But he came out and he's like, we have failed as a society if we continue this rate of uptake of these weight loss medications, because basically the people, there's some people that need it. Let's not beat about the bush. There are some people that need it that will allow them to get to a healthy weight range so they can then focus on moving their bodies and sorting out their lifestyle. The women that I see taking it, they should not be on it. For people that want to lose 2 dress sizes, no, you don't need to do it, because you can lose 2 dress sizes 3 to 6 months and keep it off if you do the right things. Anyway, but that's one of the reasons why we're so cynical, because there's not an awful lot of the right things out there, because everything is geared towards this immediacy. We need this quick fix. We need this now. I'm going to do all this like really sexy sounding things, whatever is in fashion at that time. So it could be intermittent fasting, it could be the ketogenic diet, it could be Atkins, Weight Watchers, Slim World, all of them. If you think through the ages, they're all the same thing. It's all just being in a calorie deficit, which is the scientific side of this is how we lose body fat. But the hard bit about losing weight and keeping it off is nothing to do with losing the body fat. It's the maintenance. It's the keeping it off. It is changing your habits and your mindset and your subconscious behaviors and your beliefs that allow you to become the person that does those new actions on repeat. And that's what I do. Like people think like I just give people a calorie number and a workout plan. And for those of you that have been through my program, you'll know that you do get a calorie. Well, you actually don't get a calorie number, you get a calorie range, and you do get a workout plan. But over and above all of that, you get the identity work, you get the limiting beliefs work, you get the mindset work, you get the future pacing work, you get the emotional based goals stuff, because that is what is going to shift your brain from the person that you are now. This is not about changing your personality. You've got a lovely personality, but all of those beliefs that you've got from when you were 3 about what it meant to be a woman. You have to be skinny, you have to be healthy, not too overweight, not too loud, not too braggy. There's so many things that we were taught, not, and very often not consciously taught. I was told that it's okay to want it all. You can have it all. So I wanted it all and I got it all, and then went, oh God, that's actually really hard work. kind of want a bit of a break. But equally, I was told to be quiet and not be loud. You don't need to be that loud, Emma. Don't be that loud. There's no need for you to be that loud. And I am natural loud person, so that has sat with me for a number of years, that don't be too out there, don't be too loud, don't be too ballsy, don't let people, don't have an opinion. These kind of things, we hold them dear. And this is not a therapy session, but if you think back to some times in your life when you were young, like probably preteen, you will probably find something there that drives your current approach to your lifestyle or how you are as a person. So anyway, this is nothing to do with the topic that I want to talk about. So anyway, that's why people are cynical, because they've got to their 40s and they go, I've spent a shit ton of money on X, Y, and Z. I have spent a shit ton of time trying to find the right thing. So you promising me that I can spend 90 days with you and you will change everything for me. Oh no, that doesn't sound good. We're not going to do that, right? So that, and I understand it why. I've got a postgrad in psychology. I understand it. But what I don't understand is this narrative that is going around just now. That is, if you go and scroll through your Facebook or your Instagram or your TikTok, you'll get a lot of content that's geared towards women over 40. It's a demographic. Like women over 40, smart, successful, professional women over 40. You're in a demographic, right? And a lot of people are going to market to you because women in their 40s traditionally have a little bit more disposable income. And they're like, right, okay, we can help. And that's fine. But there's this narrative just now from not everybody, from some people, it's very much like, it's not your fault. It's not your fault your hormones are the way they are. It's not your fault that you're overweight. It's not your fault that X, Y, and Z happens. It's not your fault, right? And I'm not here to tell you that it is your fault. Like, that would be factually incorrect. It's not your fault that your hormones are mental. That's what happens with our hormones. It's a natural part of the aging process. Menopause is not a disease, it's not an illness, it's a natural part of the aging process. So that is true. It is not your fault. And the other worrying narrative about it is this concept of you should just rest more. You're too stressed. You've got too much on your plate. Just rest more. Now, I have found this a laughable concept, right? And I speak for myself here, and I am going to speak on behalf of some of my clients because we have had quite good discussions about this in our weekly group discussion. Somebody says to me, "You've got a lot on your plate. You should rest more." I will laugh in your freaking face, right? Don't tell me. First of all, don't tell me what to do. I'm not going to rest. The concept of rest in the traditional sense of rest is laughable. A lot of my clients have said resting feels lazy. And that's how I feel about rest. Somebody said, you need to go and rest. And it wasn't for a valid, like, you need to rest because you've got glandular fever and you cannot physically do anything. That is less of an alien concept. But just because I'm busy and stressed, where am I going to rest? Like, I'm running 2 businesses. I've got all these clients. I'm trying to create a third revenue stream. I'm setting up a menopause training academy, right? I've got a kid. I'm a single mom. Got a dog that needs like 2 hours of exercise a day. And, when is that going to happen? But it's not the rest that's the problem. It's with the theme of it's not your fault and the just rest. Those 2 narratives together make me feel like it's pointless doing anything. It's not your fault. Just have a rest. So there's no point taking action. That's what that says to me. Just don't do anything and it'll all work out in the end, right? Now, I actually do believe that women in their 40s probably do need to rest more, but not in the traditional sense of taking yourself off to a spa or taking yourself off to bed with a blanket. Like, resting, now I have reframed what I think of rest being, and it's not that I need to take a day off and do this and get some Reiki or whatever. Rest to me now is I need to get outside and get some fresh air for 20 minutes. I need to go and do some squats. I need to go and do a workout. I need to get to bed before 11 o'clock at night. That to me is my rest. I need to, maybe do some meditation work or just some journaling work. That is now how I have positioned rest, and it feels easier for me because it's not this all-encompassing, I need to stop what I'm doing completely and do something else, because I can't do that. None of us can do that. But anyway, that's what that is saying to me. Just rest more and it's not your fault. Even though hormone changes are not our fault, it is still our individual responsibility to look after ourselves, to look after our bodies, to look after our gut health, to look after our brain health, to look after our mental health, to look after everything. It's our response. It's individual responsibility. And I remember years ago? I can't, the years all just jumble into one. I did a call with a lady who was like, oh, I want to join your program. And we got on a call and I told her, and at the time, I'm fairly certain it was like £1,500 to work with me one-to-one for 90 days. Now, I actually don't do a lot of one-to-one anymore and won't be doing an awful lot of one-to-one for the foreseeable. And she went, oh, my husband won't let me. Like, what do you mean your husband won't let you? He doesn't believe that I should spend money on things that I can find out how to do for free. And I'm like, right, you've just told me that for the last 10 years, you have hated the sight of yourself in the mirror, that you hate how you feel. And now you're telling me that your husband says no because you can learn how to do it on the internet. Like, I can learn how to fly a plane on the internet. Don't see me leaping into the cockpit of a Ryanair plane, taking everybody to Alicante. That's not how it is. Like, we have got all the information. Like, we can learn how to be a brain surgeon by watching YouTube videos, but it doesn't mean to say that you're going to do it. That was quite ranty sounding, wasn't it? It wasn't meant to. So it's not the information. So anyway, going back to this whole, it's still our responsibility to take action on our own health, to future-proof our health. When I look at what I do, what my clients do in their 90-day programs, we start very small. And so many times I've had people reach out to me in the first week and they're like, I should be doing more than this. They're like, nope, shut up. Just do what I tell you. Please trust the process. Been doing this for a gazillion years. I know it works. And the reason why it works the way I do it versus, the stuff that I don't teach my clients, it's not secret. The Eat, Move, Win methodology is not made up of crystals and, the water from a mountaintop waterfall. Like, it's not anything, it's all stuff that's available online for free, absolutely, but it's how it's positioned and it's how it's implemented that is the game changer, and the way and how it's positioned, because every single one of my clients, as what I would call, they're just used to juggling multiple responsibilities. They love being in control of stuff. They love taking action. If they've got a problem, they will go and find a solution for it, right? So very typically what that means, if they have been trying to lose weight in the past, or they've been feeling knackered and they want to feel better, or, they're kind of knocked sideways with these perimenopause symptoms, what they would typically do is try and solve every problem at once. So they would try and fix their diet week one. They would fix their hydration week one. They would start exercising week one. They would start journaling week one. They would start meditating week one. They would start doing all the week one. And by week three, it's too hard. And, some life comes along and slaps you in the face with a wet fish. And suddenly it's just like, I can't be fucked. I'll start again on Monday. It's just too hard. And if one thing goes, the whole pack of cards falls down. That's why when you apply true behavior change techniques to something and you deliver results, small things over a long period of time, that's when the big changes come. So why my stuff is so different is because we start so small that somebody cannot fail. So small can't fail. What does that do? It builds trust. It builds self-esteem. It builds this level of confidence of, well, if I can do this, then I can do whatever Emma's going to ask me to do next. And then next week, I ask them to do something else. Again, in isolation, it's a very small thing. And this is basically marginal gains. We do small things, we build on that small thing, and then we do another small thing, and then another small thing. And over the period of 12 weeks, you've got all these small things piled on top of each other that people can do really easily, because it's not this, you need to spend 5 hours in a Sunday meal prepping, you need to spend 3 hours this week doing workouts, you need to do da-da-da-da-da-da. That's not how it works. So when you pull in the psychology element alongside the nutrition and the movement, the Eat, Move, Win methodology, that's how it works. So anyway, this worrying narrative of don't do anything, just rest. What is happening here is women are just going, oh, well, you've just given me permission to do sweet fuck all, so I'm not going to do anything. Great. And then, like, if you follow me on Instagram, and if you don't follow me on Instagram, it's at Emma Perimeno Health. You will see reels upon reels of mine of people saying, oh, I've got this and I've got that, and I'm so tired all the time, and I've got such bad brain fog, and I go, right, okay, what are you doing about it? Crickets. What are you doing about it? Crickets. Okay, here's a £27 product that will help you. Oh, you want me to spend money on that? Oh, yeah, you've just told me that you're sodden miserable. You've just told me that you can't wear any of your clothes. You've just told me that you smell cigarette smoke all the time. You just told me that you are so angry at your husband all the time, that your marriage is falling apart. You told me all these things. Do something about it. It's your responsibility to take action. We are all responsible for every single one of our thoughts and every single one of our actions. And sometimes our actions and our thoughts are subconscious. We can change that. You can change your subconscious thoughts. You can change everything about you if you choose to. If you've got a really bad habit of coming in from work, opening the fridge and eating a block of cheese and a box of Ritz crackers because you've had a really shitty day at work, or for whatever reason, you can change that behavior. You can change that habit by implementing a new habit. So it's not rocket science. What I do is not rocket science. I think the rocket science part where we are just now as a demographic is, we all know somebody as well. Like, I've got clients that go, oh, I wish my friend would come and work with you, or I wish people could just see how easy this is comparison to how we think how hard it's going to be. And that's like one of the big blockers to any type of change. Like, if you think about, I can't even show you because you're probably not watching. If you think about a dartboard, and you think right in the middle of that dartboard, there's a circle. That's where most people are. That's their comfort zone. They're right there. And everybody listening will go, I'm not stuck in my comfort zone. I'm not stuck in my comfort zone. Sorry, you are. So you've got your comfort zone, and that's where things are predictable, where they're pretty much easy, even though you might not be happy, you might not be getting results, but you know what to do. It's your routines, it's the people around you, it's the actions that you do, it's the thoughts that you have. They're easy, they're comfortable, and you're not going to die. Your brain's going, you're fine here because you're okay, you're not going to die. And then you've got the circle outside this, and if you play darts or know what a dartboard looks like, I apologise if I've got this wrong. But you've got the circle round about that circle, and that's your stretch zone. And that is where you have to do something different. You have to do different things that challenge you a little bit. Excuse me, I'm having a break for a cup of my tea, a sip of my cup of tea. Oh, it's a good cup of tea. That's when you know you're old. I'm sitting in a cardigan going, oh, that's a good cup of tea. You've got that. So outside the comfort zone, you've got stretch zones. It means you are having to do different things. Now, how do people get from the comfort zone circle into the stretch zone circle is when it becomes so hard and uncomfortable to stay in that comfort zone bit. So when you are like, so a lot of my clients, it's something somebody said, or they've seen a picture of themselves and they look absolutely hideous. They hate it. Somebody said something to them that makes them feel bad, or they feel a certain way, or they've broken down in tears. Just that I can't do this anymore type moment. That is the primary psychological driver from somebody to do nothing to do something. So to get into that stretch zone is like you would approach me, for example, and say, right, okay, I want to work with you, whatever, happy body project. I'll like, right, okay, cool. You can either do it yourself, do it DIY, where you just get access to my program and you do it yourself, or you pay more and you get access to me and I am there for you, weekly calls and weekly check-ins. That's the options, right? That is the comfort zone. That is the first step of getting outside the comfort zone, is admitting to yourself that I need to do something different. It's not I need help. Like, that's probably the hardest thing any woman can ever say is I need help. I actually did a talk this week at Police Scotland, and that was one of my parts of the speech, was that hands up, who would rather stick pins in their eyes and say, I'm stuck, I need help, I don't know what to do. Pretty much 80% of the population put their hand up, because we like to do things. We're clever, smart, responsible people, so we're just going to do it ourselves because it's quicker and easier. Anyway, back to the point. So that stretch zone is maybe you recognize that you're going to have to learn how to think differently, recognize that you're going to have to eat differently, recognize that you're going to have to exercise differently, recognize that you're going to have to prioritize yourself differently, or recover differently, or do new things. And if you don't know what those new things are, and most of my clients actually do know what those things are, they don't pay me for the knowledge, they pay me for the implementation. So that is the stretch zone. And then you've got the extreme zone, which is like, say, for example, you're in your comfort zone, you're not really doing much. And it's very rare for people to go from comfort zone right into extreme zone. But I'm trying to think of a really good example, like something that you would maybe see in a magazine, like somebody who's been classed as obese for many, many years, and they completely transform their lifestyle, and then they go on to be like a national level bodybuilder or a competitive athlete or something. And because that's really freaking hard to do. And most people cannot do that. Most people, that is really, really hard to maintain. And I would argue that most people that have done that have done a significant work with either a therapist or coach to be able to maintain that. And even then, how many times do we see the 5 years down the line journey? What was that? I've not seen the documentary that's on Netflix about The Biggest Loser that was in America, and it's the kind of follow up from all of those people. Anyway, I digress. So but the problem that we have is most people think that getting into the stretch zone, so the zone outside comfort zone, is exactly the same as the extreme zone, because it's like one of the biggest blockers for change is fear. And so many people tell me, no, it's not fear, but it's not what we think of as fear. Like, we think, oh my God, that's really scary. I'm not doing it, like actual really extreme fear. But any type of change is scary because your brain doesn't want you to do it. So it is fear. It might not feel like fear, but it presents itself as uncertainty, questions, or statements like, this won't work for me because X, Y, and Z, I'm special. I had a coach that used to work for me years and years ago, and she loved when people said, oh, I don't think that'll work for me because, and she's like, are you not a female adult human? Like, what makes you think that science and psychology doesn't work for you? What makes you think that you're so special that this proven process would not work for you? And I like, all my clients are special. They are. And all my listeners are special. You are special. But you are still an adult human woman with hormones, for the most part, that the proven process will work for. So that's how fear presents itself in this procrastination, questions, I doubt that anything will work for you because nothing else has worked for you before. And that's why nothing else has worked before, because you've not done it the right way. And that's no shame. It's just because the stuff that works is the boring stuff. It's the consistency, it's the psychology, it's the behavior change, it's the habits, it's the small things done well over a long period of time gets the big results. And that is not as sexy as saying, but if you just stop eating between 11 and 6, you'll lose all the weight in the world. And you won't. And you will also have a hell of a time with hormones. So anyway, that's basically it of today, is this worrying narrative out there about it's not your fault and just rest more, when in actual fact, if more people could put their hand up and say, do you know what? Yeah, it's not my fault that my hormones are all over the place. It's a natural part of the aging process. However, it is my responsibility to change, to future-proof my health. And I did mean to say this earlier, like what I do with my clients is what they think is, you're going to help me feel better. You're going to help me feel like myself again. You're going to help me get my spark back. You're going to help me lose weight. You're going to help me sleep better. You're going to help me get stronger. You're going to help me, have better boundaries and all of these things and higher standards for myself. And all of those things are true. But what I actually do is help people live an extra active 5 or 10 years of their life. That's it. Because if I can help you increase your bone density, reduce your body fat, increase your muscle mass, change how you think, change your brain chemistry, change your habits, change your behaviors, change your stress response, that is elevating somebody's life by 5 or 10 years. And that's what I do. And that sounds really big-headed, and it's taken me a long time to be able to say, do you know what? I am really good at what I do. And this is part of that narrative of, when we were young, we're like, be a good girl, be quiet. Emma, you don't need to be so loud. Emma, you didn't need to do that. Emma, do you really have to be so loud? Emma, do you have to be that person? Be humble. All of those things, think about the things you're told. Be a good girl, be humble, be quiet, can you not just be more girly? Can you not just wear a dress? No more. I'm nearly 50 years old. If I'm not able to brag about how good what I do is, or how good I am at what I do, who else is going to do it for me? And the same goes for you. If you're a great accountant, you be telling the world that you are a bloody great accountant. And if you don't think you're a great accountant, why do you not think you're great at what you do? What is wrong? If you're a singer, you go out there and be the best singer in the world. You get yourself on stage. You get yourself in recording studios. You get yourself singing on TikTok. Put yourself out there. You are not one person in this world was born to just fade away. You are here for a reason. It's a fucking literal miracle how we are all on this earth. Do not be humble, be brave, be strong, be better. Love yourself. And love yourself isn't preening yourself in front of the mirror all the time, although there's nothing wrong with that. Looking after yourself is, changing your nutrition to suit your hormones, changing your movement to suit your age and your joints and your muscles and your bone density, changing your thoughts and behaviors to become the person that you think you should be, rather than the person that doesn't have any spark left. It's as simple as that. Anyway, that was a biggie. Told you it was an off the cuff one. Okay, right, love yous. Please share this with people. I'm trying to, I don't know if the podcast that I did about the book launch is out yet. If it is, read it. This podcast and the book, these are my, I've never made any plans about what I want the podcast to be like. I've never had any targets for myself about this podcast. This podcast essentially is kind of a vanity project because I couldn't get across the things that I wanted to say in 10-second reels. And my speaking, you might argue, my speaking is worse than my writing. I find it really hard to write in a way that is compelling. But I am very passionate about what I do. And that's what this podcast was designed to be, as a platform for people who don't want to fade away, who do want their spark back, who do want to make their mark in the world, to have a safe space where they could listen to me and people like me, my guests, helping people, giving people the tools, the actions, the thoughts, the questions that allow them to be 1% better tomorrow than they are today. And that's what it's all about. So anyway, I quite like that statement. I should have written that down. I'm going to have to replay this. Okay, but please share, tell people about this podcast, have people listen, comment when you see it pop up, share it on your social medias. Life is really hard right now for everybody, and a lot of content creators like myself are finding nobody is online is really just a space for scrolling now. There's not a lot of interaction, and that's fine. But if you do see this pop up or you do want to share it, I will love you forever. Might even send you a book if you don't already have it. Anyway, I think I'm coming down with a cold. I've just realised that I'm quite nasally and the back of my nose is quite scratchy. So next time you hear or see me, I'm probably riddled with a cold. Right. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. And just like that, we have spiced up another episode of Piss Off Perimenopause and the musings of a bullshit queenager. Massive shout out and a huge thank you for hanging out with me today. I really hope you've been entertained. And remember, don't be shy, hit that subscribe button. And until next time, keep those heels high and standards higher. Remember, it's all about glowing, growing and downright owning it. So catch you on the flip side, and don't forget to click the link in the show notes to get your freebie.